Welcome back to First Education. This is Zant. Today I'm going to be talking about GAXY Next Generations, going with the ticker GAXY as recommended and suggested from my Twitter fans on Twitter. Now make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe and leave notifications on. I'm going to go through technical analysis, what I think about the stock, and any company information I can find about it in the next probable move of the price action point. Now, if you're looking into technical analysis and you're wondering one of these technical indicators, you'll find a playlist in the description below that explains each of them what they mean, and let's jump right into it. We get to see on the 1 week perspective, the MACD here has been quite positive for quite a bit ever since December 2019. So that's been almost a year from the time being, but it's more of trading sideways on the MACD. It looks like it might be perhaps attempting to go towards a negative reversal, but we gotta admit that this MACD looks positive for quite strong some time, so it doesn't really mean much to me at all. ADX is sitting in at around 30.37. That usually suggests that there is a strong indication of a trend forming, being the last price action point is green, so that's the indication for the week. Now Williams% puts the stock at oversold at 95.16, about negative 80 and beyond is usually oversold. And momentum here seems to be quite strong. It looks like it hasn't dipped down to where it was before, so that is a great indication. If we look into the moving averages though, we get to see it's actually looking quite bearish. The stock price is below the 50 SMA, 30 EMA is above the 10 SMA, and it's in the bearish trading action zone. You get to see it actually attempted to see an increase before and then was rejected because it's in the bearish trading action zone. But that's on a 1 week perspective. If we're trading it for a day to day, we get to see on the 1 month 1 day that it's actually attempting a positive reversal on the MACD. So that is an amazing news. We get to see here as well as on the Williams% though, it's actually overbought. So that is a bearish or dangerous move. On the ADX, it's approaching above 50 in what it looks like to be a strong trend forming here, or a strong trend confirmed, at least on the 1 day perspective. Above 50 here is where reverses are likely. So if you're using the ADX above 50, that's where you start getting an indication that it might be time to sell. That's because the trend becomes unstable a little, and it might see a reversal here. Being this is a positive trend, so it might see a negative reversal. Momentum seems to be really strong here at this point. Volume looks like it's actually bullish, so you're getting to see a bit more attention towards the stock. Now, if we were to look into the moving averages, we get to see they're very much all cramped up at the same place. But it's actually looks somewhat more bullish than bearish to me, just because the 10 SMA is above the 30 EMA. But at this point, it really just indicates it can move in either directions, and it's very volatile. Now, if we were to look into a 1 hour perspective, what we get to see here is that there is large volumes that were indicated in the last trading hour. We get to see as well on the ADX that this positive trend seems to be a little bit too dangerous high. I mean, it was around 70-ish all week, so I'm not going to give that much concern on the ADX, since the ADX seems to be really high ever since the 21st of September, so that's a week ago. But you still saw a bit more of an increase in terms of the price action, so that is bullish as well. Williams% puts the stock at overbought, and momentum seems to be quite strong on this one. Overall, I would say that it has potential to jump, but it's a little bit dangerous because it does possess a lot of volatility, but that's something that a lot of OTCs have. So we're looking at the moving averages. It's expected to trade on the top on 0.32, in the middle 0.29, and on the bottom 0.026. Sorry, that was not 0.32, that was 0.032. Taking a quick look into the charts, what we get to see here on the Fibonacci retracement, a support basically and a resistance occurs at almost every 0.01 interval, so that is interesting to see. If we were to looking into significant supports and resistances, what we get to see here is that there is a significant support at the current time being at the 0.03 cent, and then that's 0.025 and 0.02, that thus for supports. Significant resistances occurs at 0.03, that's a significant one, and then we're looking at 0.04 or 0.0398, I would say, 0.04. Then above there we get the 0.045, 0.05, and then we hit the 0.06. let's take into account what's the latest news for this company and what do they actually do. So I did try to go to investor relations here, and I did go through towards their presentations, and it looks like it's not updated yet. So if you have that, please mention it in the comments below for your fellow watchers. Now, GAXY next generation expects to close acquisition of Classroom Technology Solutions line by mid-October, and that's a beautiful catalyst there. I did get to read a little bit into their 10K report, but I'm going to go focus a little bit on latest news and the 10K financial results rather than the report itself. But we get to see in the latest investments around a month and a half ago, they have around 82.2 million shares here for this company. In terms of insiders, I don't see anything significant ever since the 2019, at least in the end of it, around 500,000 shares to Watts and Keith. Now, in terms of this form, the form 10Q, this is the quarter results. What we get to see here on a quarter result, and I'm going to skim this quickly just because I'm going to go towards 10K, is we get to see, even though we get an increase in revenue, we get to see the cost of sales decrease, but the general administrative expenses and services have actually increased quite a bit, almost double. So your losses here become a lot greater. So that is interesting to see. We're looking at 5.26 million compared to 2 million in terms of losses, but on the EPS, just because there has been dilution, it looks like it's actually better. That's not the case. There's also another issuance of 200,000 200 million shares of common stock, but that is, by the way, something very usual I find in the OTCs, just because they usually aren't given fundraisers per se, so their focus in terms of money comes in from dilution. Now, so this basically gives you as well a little bit of an insight towards their offering, because of their S8 form or the 424B form, and they usually both indicate the same thing when it comes to that. 424B3 as well. So now towards the 10K results, financial results. What we get to see here is, in terms of cash, they have a lot more cash than they did before in 2019, around 3 times more, but we're still talking about less than a million here. We're talking about 412,000. We get to see their net loss per year is around 14 million compared to 6.7 million. So we're talking about an average probably of 10 million per year. So they do need to raise a lot more in terms of dilution there. We get to see his revenues increase, so that's very stable. But as I said again, general administrative expenses hasn't doubled, so that is quite interesting. We get to see a better EPS just because of their dilutions, but nothing significant comes out of that in terms of something like a breakthrough or something. I've added a tongue twist there. And then let's jump in towards the price action to see what is expected. So I expect there's 2 things coming up. There's dilution in terms of offering, and there is the acquisition to be completed by the middle of October. I'm more excited about the middle of October acquisition, but if the offering does come, I think that is a safe time to buy in preparation for the middle of October catalyst. Now, keep in mind, this is an OTC, so there's a lot of different things to keep in mind in terms of volatility, but it does look like it actually might be in due for another jump. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.